Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Robin Wansley, and I am the chair of the Climate and Infrastructure Committee, and I'm going to call to order our regular meeting for today, the first of the term thus far, this Thursday, April 16, 2026. But before we begin the meeting, I want to offer a friendly reminder to all committee members, staff, and the public that these meetings are broadcast live to enable greater public participation. These broadcasts include real-time captioning as a further method to increase the accessibility of our proceedings to the community. Therefore, all speakers need to be mindful of the rate of their speech so that our captioners can fully capture and transcribe all comments for the broadcast. We ask that all speakers moderate the speed and clarity of their comments. And at this time, I will ask the clerk to call the roll so that we can verify that we have a quorum.
Councilmember Vita.
Present.
Warren.
Present.
Chuktai is absent. Chowdhury is absent. Palmasana.
Present.
Vice Chair Stevenson.
Present.
Chair Wansley.
Present.
We have 5 present.
Thank you. And I will also note for the public record that council members Chowdhury as well as Chuktai reached out to me ahead of this meeting, letting me know of their absence, and Councilmember Chowdhury in particular is serving on our labor board committee today, so won't be joining us. That said, we do have a quorum, and I'll remind my colleagues again that we'll be using speaker management, so please make sure that you're signed in, and if you're having troubles, please connect with our clerks who can assist you. Also, if you're here for one of the public hearings and you wish to address the committee, I also invite you to register with our clerks right here to the right, and you can provide any written comments or materials to include in the public record. With that, our agenda is in front of us, and we will begin with the consent agenda reflected in items 3 through 11 on our agenda. And with that, also, I do want to note that we've been joined by Councilmember Rainville, who I will acknowledge when we come to, I believe, item number 8 for some brief comments. But that said, I'll read the consent agenda for the record. The first item is, public hearings. I was like, it is organized a little bit differently. Starting with number 3 is authorizing an agreement with the Minnesota Department of Transportation, MnDOT, for landscaping improvements at the Triangle Park, downtown Minneapolis. Number 4 is authorizing agreement with Minnesota Department of Transportation for landscaping improvements at the West Bank. Number 5 is approving Art Rural large block permits May 15th through the 17th, 2026. Number 6 is approving Edina Art Fair large block event permit June 5th through 7th, 2026. And staff has affirmed that this is actually happening on the Minneapolis side. Number 7 is approving Prince Celebration 10th anniversary celebration of Life block event permit June 6th and 7th of 2026. Number 8 is passage of resolution related to the Marshall Street Northeast reconstruction project. Number 9 is accepting bid for dewatering gate site improvements at 4300 Marshall Avenue Northeast. Number 10 is accepting bid for traffic marking First Ave South and Nicollet Avenue project. Number 11 is authorizing contract amendment with PCI Roads, LLC for the 2025 concrete pavement rehabilitation project. Colleagues, are there any items that you would like to pull for discussion? And with that, again, I will acknowledge Councilmember Rainville for some brief comments on item number 8, which is the Marshall Street Northeast reconstruction project.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to speak to our public works staff that's worked on this and to the leadership of Mr. Sexton. This is a very contentious project. Marshall Street is in a growth mode. A lot of conflicts there between growing businesses, bicyclists, buses, car, everything. And it took a long time to get to this, but your staff has been great. And I just really appreciate that, the give and take that's gone. And you can't make everybody happy, but we've done a pretty darn good job. So I just want to acknowledge the hard work of all the staff that's helped, and I'm grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Excuse me, I also see Councilmember Warren in queue.
Thank you, Chair. I just have questions about item number 11.
Okay, we will move that for a separate vote and discussion. That said, I will move approval of all consent items minus number 11. With that, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, no nays. The ayes have it, and that motion carries. We will take up number 11. Councilmember Warren, please proceed with your questions.
Thank you, Chair. I understand that it's a contract amendment with PCI Roads for the 2025 concrete pavement and rehabilitation project for, in accordance with city specifications. Where all is this work being done at? Is there someone who could?
So I will ask that we have staff come present forward. Also, I will note, I don't know if it's just me, just trying to even pull up the LIMS file for this item is not working. So you can either, okay, so I don't know if it's just isolated to this, but if clerks, if you can check out what's going on. Hi, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Chair Wansley and Council Member Warren. This work is going to be taking place in the Kenwood neighborhood.
Any additional questions, Councilmember Warren?
And it's in the Kenwood neighborhood in South Minneapolis?
Yes, Council Member Warren.
Okay. That was the question that I had.
That's all the questions.
That's it.
Awesome. I will move this item also for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Those opposed? Okay, just for the record, none. All right, that motion carries. Next, we will proceed with our public hearings reflected as items 1 and 2 on the agenda. Again, anyone who wishes to testify or provide written comment, please see our clerks again to the right. And anyone who has signed up, you will be given 2 minutes each to testify. And these hearings are being recorded and broadcast, and both the recording and broadcast are classified as public data under the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act. And by attending and participating in these proceedings, your image and any testimony or information that you provide will also be subject to disclosure under the law. That includes, but is not limited to, your attendance, your name, and other personal details you provide, as well as any testimony or comment you provide, which includes any written submissions you make, which are included in the record for this meeting. Our first public hearing is for the Logan Park Industrial Reconstruction Project. I'll invite Beverly Cardin, Senior Engineer with our Public Works Department, to begin the presentation on this item before we proceed forward with the public hearing.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Beverly Warmke-Cardin, and I am a project engineer with the Transportation Engineering and Design Division of Public Works. Today, I'm here presenting for the public hearing for Logan Park Industrial Reconstruction Project, Package 1, City Project Number 2295, CPV 123. The proposed project consists of reconstructing multiple segments in the Logan Park neighborhood and includes Jackson Street, 12th Avenue Northeast, Tyler Street Northeast, 13th Avenue Northeast, and 14th Avenue Northeast, as well as Van Buren Street Northeast. Elements to be included in the part of the project include the full removal of the existing roadway, new pedestrian ramps, sidewalks, shared use path, new pavement, curb and gutter, new planted boulevards, street lighting, and utility improvements. And this project will also include new signage and new pavement markings. The cost of the construction for this package 1 is $8.9 million. The total street reconstruction assessment is $1,903,074.70. This was based on the 2026 uniform assessment rates and the influence zone area method, with a rate of $3.20 for non-residential properties and $1.12 for residential properties. And these assessments are paid over a 20-year period. The rest of the city funding sources are levied and funded debt, general fund, and stormwater fund. City staff has conducted numerous virtual and in-person outreach activities throughout the planning and the design of this project, and a virtual pre-assessment meeting was held last Thursday to discuss the planned improvements and answer any questions related to the assessment method and the process that was used. This was held on April 9th, and we had 2 parties attending. Today, Public Works is asking City Council to pass resolutions adopting the special assessments, authorizing the sale of the assessment bonds, and authorizing the abandonment and removal of areaways in conflict with the project. This concludes my presentation, and I'll stand by for questions.
Thank you, Director. We will proceed with the public hearing portion first before allowing committee members to ask questions. I will now open this public hearing and see, we have Kurt Gashovi, and I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. Kurt? My name is Kurt. Yes. Gunsbury. Yes, please proceed forward. And again, if anyone else is here to testify for this item, please check in with our clerks. Oh, can you come forward here?
Hello, council members. Sorry, I'm breathing hard because I entered the wrong way and got lost on my way into the room. I and partners own the former Youngblood property in Northeast, which is directly impacted by this assessment. And our very large concern is that the long-term plan does not support business development in Northeast. It effectively creates an enormous tax on a part of the city that for 130 years has been economically productive. For the past 5 years, the city block that we own has been vacant because we are unable to develop it with market rate anything. We are now working on affordable housing on 1/6 of the site, but it will be 10, 12 years before we can fully develop the site. Residents for our planned affordable parking would be using street parking. We know that the cost for this resurfacing and the changes that are planned for this entire block will only add to the cost of our redevelopment of the site into affordable housing. We may be coming back to you for grants that need to cover the assessment cost. Nobody on our block, nobody in our neighborhood that I know of has asked for this redevelopment of the streets. They work fine the way they are now. Offices use them for parking during the daytime. Residents use them for parking during the nighttime. We are concerned that this is unfortunately another example of what I would call the uptownization of the whole city. We don't need this redevelopment. We haven't asked for it. It's adding cost, and it's limiting our ability to develop this vacant eyesore of a city block into affordable housing. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Checking to see if anyone else is here to speak to this item amongst the public. Okay. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and then open up for questions from committee members. I did put myself in queue because I think it would be great to have staff come forward and just share a little bit of what goes into the city's process when executing these assessments. How regularly do they happen, and if it's often by request of residents. So just to provide some clarity on that.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. I'll take a first stab at that as far as like this project. Part of the reasons these become projects is based on the conditions of the existing streets and infrastructure in the area. Much of this area does not have sidewalks. Much of this area is very past its useful life. And so that's kind of where the project started. As far as assessments, I would turn that over to the assessment team if that's a further question.
Thank you. Hi, and can you introduce yourself?
Chair Wansley, members of the committee, my name is Jeff Handeland. I'm a principal professional engineer in the Transportation Engineering Design Division that oversees the Office of Public Works Special Assessments. All streets need maintenance and eventually need reconstruction. When streets are reconstructed, Public Works follows City Council policy that includes funding a portion of the project by a special assessment that is uniform across the whole city for all projects of that type.
Okay. And so just for clarification, in layman terms, the city essentially has a standardized process for doing these assessments, and it's not at the request of residents then?
Chair Wansley, that's correct. The projects are programmed with multiple considerations that others here could speak to better than I could, if that would help.
Yes, and I don't know who this might be for, but would love to know if staff could share a bit about the communications that was tied to the assessment project, if there was canvassing or notices sent to those who would be in proximity or most impacted by this project.
Afternoon again. There was a lot of outreach on this project, trying to reach phone calls. My peers in other departments or divisions of Public Works set up meeting individually with property owners throughout the course of this project. As Jeff said, it kind of depends on, there's many factors that go into a project becoming a project excuse me. But we did outreach via phone calls, newsletters, I think we did some postcards, government, gov delivery list. We tried to spread, even in Northeastern and stuff like that, we tried to advertise this project.
Okay, thanks. And then is that a standard protocol with these assessments in terms of doing that outreach?
Madam Chair, with the assessments, it goes in a direct mailing to the taxpayer, property owner.
Okay, awesome. Those are all the questions that I had. I also will encourage staff to connect with the individual who did speak to talk about any resources available to them in light of some of the concerns that they raised. But that said, I will move this item for approval, seeing that there's no one in queue for further discussions. I'll just take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. All right, the ayes have it, and that item carries. Item number 2 is a public hearing for the Northrop Residential Resurfacing Project, and I will invite Hazel Wolf, Supervisor Engineering Tech with our Public Works Department, to begin that presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, committee chair and members of the Climate and Infrastructure Committee. My name is Hazel Wolf, and I'm a supervising engineering technician with Public Works. I'm here to present to you the Northrop Residential Resurfacing Project and recommend passage of resolution adopting special assessments in the amount of $1,375,505.78 for the Northrop Residential Resurfacing Project, and passage of resolution requesting the Board of Estimate and Taxation authorize the city's issuance and sale of assessment bonds in the amount of $1,375,505.78 for the project. Northrop Residential are local streets bounded by 46th Street East to East Minnehaha Parkway and Chicago Avenue to Cedar Avenue South. This area was reconstructed in 1990 and has a pavement condition index of 36. Public Works hosted a virtual informational meeting on Wednesday, April 8th, 2026 at 6 p.m. There were 732 invitations mailed and 2 attendees came to this meeting. On February 5th, 2026, the City Council designated the improvements proposed to the 2026 street resurfacing program. The purpose of the asphalt pavement resurfacing program is to extend the life of some city streets which are not scheduled for any preventative maintenance, renovation, or reconstruction in the foreseeable future. This resurfacing program is addressing city streets that are at a point in their life cycle where a new surface will extend the street's life, improve ride quality and neighborhood livability, and help slow the overall deterioration of our city street system. The proposed street resurfacing special assessments were determined by applying the 2026 uniform assessment rates to the land area of benefited parcels located within the street influence zone along the improved streets. Information has been provided in the notices as to how persons may prepay the special assessments in full without interest if they so choose. City Council has passed resolutions whereby a deferment of special assessments may be obtained by showing hardship for any homestead property owned by a person 65 years of age or older, retired by virtue of permanent and total disability, or military personnel ordered into active military service. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will next proceed with the public hearing portion of this item. We do have two individuals signed up. The first is Joseph Hotch. Awesome. Please come to the podium and introduce who you are.
My name's Joseph Hosh. I've lived at 4745 11th Avenue South for 18 years. My wife's parents bought the property in 1968. The city came in last year and did curbs. Did all the curbs in our area that was on the map, and they gave us a map. No resurfacing of any streets. But what they did, they came in and they forgot to put the blind nubbies on that blind people use for walking. So they tore it all up again. So for last summer, they installed it, it was all done. Then they came back and tore it all up again to put the blind nubbies in. We're a residential area, we're not a commercial. I've lived there 18 years and never seen a blind person on the avenue. So we're not being resurfaced yet, hasn't been done, no notification last year. So as far as incompetence to do it twice, and now they're doing it a third time this year, sorry. And we're getting a notice of we all have to pay $1,600, $1,660.68. And as far as I look at, I can think of $9 billion where somebody else might want to pay for that rather than us. I haven't seen a blind person on our street ever. So why are we doing it? And why did we have to tear up the streets again and still not have resurfacing? So, sorry.
Thank you for your comments. You can also share whatever remaining comments you wanted to make with our staff through written comment, and that will be attached to this item for public record as well. Thank you.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
and you said something about being disabled?
No, I said you can share your written testimony, the comments that were unfinished with our clerks, but we do have to move to the next individual. Thank
Fair
you. Next, we have Leslie Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you for this meeting. I have a question about all these plans and projects. Are the lead pipes being removed as this work is being done because we have the lead removal thing going on? And while they resurface and do all this construction, are they removing the lead pipes as well so they're not going back in, opening up the streets or the construction work and removing these lead pipes that are causing harm to our community? So that's my question to the public works. Are they removing lead pipes as they do the work anywhere in our city? Thank you with that, and I'll yield back.
Thank you. And I will highlight, anyone else is here to speak to this item that has not signed up as of yet? Going once, going twice. All right, seeing no one signed up, I will close this portion of the public hearing and move to any comments and discussion from the committee. I will also invite staff to come back up just for some clarification. I have myself in queue. And just for our committee members too, I was informed by the clerks that LIMS should be working again. If you are having troubles, please notify Michael or our clerk staff, who will be rapidly on trying to troubleshoot whatever is wrong. Just for clarification, can Can you share in response to the last individual's testimony around, this is specifically for resurfacing project, or maybe this is public, from my understanding, those are very separate projects, but just wanted to make sure if we can have clarification for the public as well.
Thank you, Chair Wansley. Those are separate projects. That said, we work closely with our water department, and they do go in before we resurface and update any, or attempt to update any remaining lead lines in the area. So that is something that is accomplished before we start our resurfacing.
Awesome. And then going to another matter that was raised, from my understanding also, we are making great progress in our commitment of having all of our sidewalk or surfacing projects meet ADA standards, which is a requirement. Can you share a little bit about that and what ADA is?
Absolutely. So I guess to speak to that person's question, before we do a resurfacing project, we do update all ADA pedestrian ramps. That means reconstructing the ramp in a way that accommodates as many users as possible. So it's specific grades that lead up, so nothing is too steep for folks. And it also has, as he pointed out, the warning texture to lead people out to the street. So because we invite utilities to do work ahead of a project, sometimes they will need to remove a ramp, and then they will temporarily put concrete in there to make a walkable surface before we come in and finish upgrading the ramp. That particular project still isn't finished, so we are currently upgrading any remaining ramps, either that were not upgraded at all or were temporarily put back together so that we can make them compliant.
And can you share a little bit about what would happen if we weren't compliant with these ADA requirements and did not fulfill them? What could be at risk of that? Or city attorneys, just, ramifications of that.
That's a great question. Thank you, Councilmember Wansley. My understanding is that we would need to redo them. So if it wasn't upgraded, we would have to go back and tear out some of the new street to redo that ramp. I think further elaboration on that, I would need to consult with city staff and get back to you as far as legal impacts.
Yeah, I was going to say also for our city attorneys, ADA, there's a federal component or requirement of that. Can you just share some of the legal risks with not falling into compliance with those requirements?
Thank you, Chair Wansley. That's not my area of expertise, so I can't give you specifics, but I can tell you that there are federal requirements for ADA standards that the city is required to follow with any new reconstruction or anything like that. So they aren't optional for the city.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I do see Councilmember Warren in queue.
Thank you, Chair. So I understand the question that was raised by the constituent was the fact that because there were alterations that were done on numerous different occasions, that they're being assessed multiple times with respect to that. So are there additional charges? Is there a way to, kind of help lower the burden cost that is being placed on the residents in this jurisdictional area due to the multiple number of times that they are being assessed or the street has been disrupted?
Good afternoon, Chair Wansley, Councilmember Warren. My name is Paul Keating. I'm the supervisor of special assessments.
Can I ask if you speak again to the microphone?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm the supervisor for special assessments in Transportation Engineering Design Division of Public Works. These projects are not all assessed. The improvement is what is being assessed for, and that is solely for the resurfacing work. The utility work and the restoration work was separate, and then the ADA ramps are separate. These all happen concurrently as coordination in anticipation of the resurfacing work. The only assessment is for the resurfacing. There's no further cost.
So there were no additional costs that are incurred by the residents for any of the other work. It's just for the resurfacing work. So they're not paying 3 times, is what you're saying to me.
Chair Wansley, Councilmember Warren, that is correct. There is only a single charge for the improvement, which is the resurfacing. All other related work is done in anticipation and coordination of the resurfacing so that new pavement does not have to be disrupted in the future.
Okay, perfect. That was my question. Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Great. Seeing no one else in queue, I will move this item for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right, the ayes have it, and that motion carries. Thank you so much, staff, and thank you to our constituents who showed up at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday to come to our public hearing. Our next item is receiving and filing a brief presentation prepared by my office as well as Vice Chair Stevenson related to the 2026 through 2029 Climate and Infrastructure Work Plan, especially in light of us transitioning out of our Super Cow committee structures. And I will wait until our staff has it up. Awesome. So if we can go to the next slide. Okay, so just some background on this, especially as we do have new council members who have joined us this term or on this committee. But work plans essentially started back in 2022 with former council member and former chair of an iteration of this committee, Andrew Johnson, who initiated these to really make sure that there was a clear legislative guidance on how to structure the work related to public works and infrastructure matters. From that, we built upon former Councilmember Johnson's leadership in last term, 2024 through 2025, where council leadership recommended that all committees organize and adopt a work plan for standing committees. And again, this is a way in which council members can really shape the goals and the scope of work that these committees will initiate. And this is in alignment with already existing policy frameworks like our Transportation Action Plan, our Climate Equity Plan, that guides the work in which how we're advancing equity in our public works and infrastructure projects, how we're making sure our city is accessible to all, and making sure that this is a space where we can work collaboratively to advance policy solutions in collaboration with city staff and the administration to meet the needs of our residents ultimately. So we are intending to continue that, to give us that focus and give us the space to do that deep legislative work together in this term as well. And once again, council leadership has recommended that all committees also do these work plans. So again, that there is clarity for our public on what we are doing together. And I will also give a major thanks to our Legislative Research Office who will be supporting us in this process as well. If you can go to the next slide. And just some examples of this or of what past priorities look like. And I do want to note that the work plan that was passed through Climate and Infrastructure should be attached to the LIMS file as well, so you can also get a glimpse of what that overall plan looked like. But some of the past examples included, again, the implementation of the 2023 Climate Equity Action Plan, which really highlights a 10-year vision for how we're going to become a climate resilient city in the face of climate change. Also, a critical component of that was advancing and supporting green job initiatives all across the city, but specifically in green zones, so that we're building up a workforce that supports us in being able to transition into more of a climate-friendly future and to essentially cultivate those industries here. A really big point of discussion too, especially in relationship to the ongoing organizing for the closure of the Herc incinerator, was how are we also implementing our own zero waste policy so that we're not having to contribute significant amount of waste to the incinerator and essentially support the early closure of that facility. An ongoing priority of this body as well has been around advancing sidewalk, snow, and ice plowing. It's through this committee where the work to actually solidify the legislative and funding initiatives needed to get this off the ground. That work happened largely in this committee, and now thousands of our residents are reaping the benefits of the pilots of our sidewalk plowing program during our winter months. And then another one is, a council member also brought forward, this is a great opportunity for us to work with existing public and private partnerships, specifically to protect other public assets like the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District. So these are just some of the examples of priorities that council members submitted that then formed the overall comprehensive work plan of this committee. And again, council members then worked with staff for 2.5 years to find policy options, funding avenues to really advance those priorities forward. So next, I will pass it over to Vice Chair Stevenson for the next slide.
Thank you. A few opportunities from doing this and then changes from previous times. One is it provides focus and increased productivity on our shared priorities so we don't get blown off track. Second is supports better transparency with the public and with the administration. If we have a work plan, we can all be working off of the same document, understand what's coming, and not be surprised, and give input into the different issues that are coming up. And then supports the council's oversight function by giving us a little grounding and letting us nail into things specifically. Changes and new infrastructure, increased staff capacity. So this is something that's changed since previous times, having an LRO individual who is designated to this committee. That's a change from last time. And then this longer term is going to allow us to have adjustments mid-term, whether I believe we're doing every two years, but we can discuss later. Adjusting when we get halfway through our term, where are we at? What do we need to change in the work plan? What do we need to keep? Those sorts of things. Next slide. So the chair and I will be sending out an email to all 13 council members with the proposed timeline for the work plan. Residents / the public should contact their specific council member to encourage their member to carry their issue as a priority. Council comment is a way to reach all council members. That's councilcomment@minneapolismn.gov. And thirdly, committee leadership will organize proposed priorities and present the work plan for committee review and council consideration at the end of June. Next slide. Questions, comments?
Checking to see if anyone's in the queue. Okay. See, Councilmember Warren.
Thank you, Chair. I didn't mean to put myself in there 2 or 3 times. I was trying to get my speaker management to work. So how do we submit things to this work plan, or when were we understand the legacy involved in the work, and that this is something that was enacted in the last 2 years, and I applaud those efforts, but how do we know when we are to submit things to this body of work if you've already put a plan together?
Yes, so I will know, as of now, there is no plan established. What we're presenting is just a logistical kind of outline. And as was noted in the presentation, both I and Vice Chair Stevenson will send an email to every single council member that basically will outline how to email your priorities to us. And from that, we will then bring a draft of that to this committee for further consideration, likely next month. That's where we can make amendments, have discussion on them, and also have a public comment. And then by the end of June, there will be the final or consideration of it in this committee before going to council for adoption. So we want to give 3 months or a little under 3 months for this body to really shape what that work plan is. But we'll have an email going out that will be attached to the Slim files that basically talks about that, like where to submit them. We'll be doing one-to-ones with council members too to talk through those priorities as well.
Okay.
All right. Seeing no other questions in queue, I will ask that our clerk staff file that presentation. Next, we will move on to discussion item 13, which is related to the 38th Street in Chicago reconstruction project. I will invite up Adam Hayo. Okay, the principal professional engineer for or with our Public Works Department to get us started. Hello.
Good afternoon, Chair Wansley, committee members. My name is Adam Hale. I'm a principal professional engineer with the Transportation Engineering Design Division of Public Works. The reconstruction of 38th Street and Chicago Avenue has evolved through a long community-driven process. The project was first identified in the city's capital improvement program in 2018 and has been shaped over the past 8 years through extensive community engagement, planning efforts, technical analysis, and city council directives that have now set the stage for implementation. The most recent city council actions in December 2025 approved a flexible open concept layout and asked Public Works to evaluate the Community Visioning Council's design recommendations to be incorporated into the project. The CVC recommendations focus on safety, access, and livability, including traffic calming, pedestrian improvements, green space, returning transit access to 38th Street and Chicago Avenue, and short-term aesthetic improvements. It also emphasizes long-term community goals, including preserving a protected space and infrastructure for a permanent George Floyd memorial. Through engagement with the CVC, Rise and Remember, property owners, and businesses near George Floyd Square, combined with a detailed technical analysis, Public Works was able to implement nearly all the resolution items outlined in the adopted City Council resolution. The only resolution item that was not incorporated was diagonal parking along the 3700 block of Chicago Avenue. After an evaluation of the benefits and impacts, Public Works determined that parallel parking would be the best option based on parking needs on both sides of the street, pedestrian safety, business delivery operations, and opportunities for activation space, as well as more green space. This project involves a reconstruction of 38th Street from Park Avenue to 10th Avenue, and the reconstruction of Chicago Avenue from 37th Street to 39th Street. These streets were last reconstructed more than 60 years ago. The above and below ground infrastructure has reached the end of its useful life and needs full replacement. The project will be built in 2 construction phases. Phase 1 construction will begin in June 2026 and includes 38th Street east of Chicago Avenue and Chicago Avenue south of the proposed BRT station as shown in blue on the map. Phase 2 construction will occur in the following year in 2027 and includes the 38th and Chicago intersection, 38th Street west of Chicago Avenue, and the rest of Chicago Avenue, including the proposed D-line BRT stations, as shown in green on the map. Plantings and final cleanup will occur in early 2028. Construction this year will maintain access to George Floyd Square, businesses, and homes. We are also working with the community to maintain access to memorials during construction. The total cost of the street reconstruction project is $14.9 million. The project is being funded through multiple sources, including city funds, state aid funds, and special assessments to adjacent property owners. City ordinance and state law enable assessments to pay for capital improvement projects. It is city policy to assess adjacent property owners on all reconstruction projects. Adjacent property owners pay only a portion of the project cost, and the assessments are based on an annual uniform assessment rate. Assessments do not change based on the cost of the overall project. Next steps. A number of activities will be occurring in the coming weeks before construction begins. Temporary lighting installation will begin next week ahead of the construction start in June. The memorials in the street will be relocated in early June, so they remain accessible to visitors and are not at risk of being damaged during street construction. As part of the assessment process, an informational meeting will be held on May 18th, and the public hearing is planned to be held at the June 4th Climate and Infrastructure meeting. Sorry, one more slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. To move forward with the street
Okay. Let's back up. Okay.
I'll start again. To move forward with the street reconstruction project, Public Works is requesting City Council to designate the project location and improvements, adopt the report receiving the project cost estimate, and authorize the city engineer to prepare special assessments. Finally, Public Works is also requesting that the City Council set the assessment public hearing for June 4th. And that concludes my presentation. I'll stand by for any questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I will pause to see if there's anyone in queue. Oh.
This button doesn't work.
I see. It's like that just popped up. All right, Councilmember Warren.
Is there a photo of what the finished project is I looked at the presentation that was on LIMS, so we're able to see what the current, what it currently looks like. There's mapping that is showing, the geographical areas where the construction will be done at, but not what the final concluded project will look like. And I know there's been community meetings, and I spoke with Councilmember Soren, Vice Chair, that's right, okay, about this previously. And they've had community meetings, but I would like to see just what that actual finished product is going to look like. Do you have that?
Chair Wansley, Councilmember Warren, yes, we held 2 open house meetings this week, one a virtual meeting as well as an in-person meeting. We do have renderings of the proposed design, which we share with the public at the open house meetings. I believe I'll connect with my colleague Fontaine. We'll be uploading those renderings hopefully this week on the project webpage. We also have our final design concept layout on the project webpage as well.
Okay. All right, that's why I just wanted to know where I can find that information to see what the proposed looks like in the future.
Councilmember Wansley, Chair Wansley, Councilmember Warren, I believe, Fontaine, it is actually on the webpage right now, those renderings.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can you come forward to the podium and share that information? And introduce who you are.
Chair Wansley, Councilmember Warren, Fontaine Burris. I'm a senior transportation planner with Public Works. The adopted council layout was uploaded on the project website. It can be found there. And then we are also in the process of posting our public meeting materials that were shared earlier this week on the project website as well. Those should be available early next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then Vice Chair Stevenson also was in queue.
I was going to basically say what she just said, but so we're all good.
Okay, I put myself in queue somewhat associated with the layout concept, and actually I think this is one where Director Sexton, you would be best to answer this, and just essentially reiterating something that you already shared in a prior email to me around some concerns amongst the public around the council's role as it relates to approving layouts. So I just want to have you kind of reiterate what that essential guidance is.
Yeah, I'll try my best. So Tim Sexton, Public Works Director. Chair Wansley. So basically, the concept layout process is not a legal requirement in the city. It's something that Public Works elects to do early on, so that we set direction, or we get some direction from council so that we feel more confident to continue spending money on the final design product. We also have some certainty for the public about what that design is going to be so we can move forward together. It doesn't mean community engagement stops, but it changes. So the big elements are worked out and we have agreement. Again, so we can move forward with some confidence because that's when that design costs really start to escalate. And the other reason that we do this is really a risk mitigation strategy. Again, while not a requirement, we feel like it's better to get on the same page early so that we again have that confidence move forward, because if there were a change late in the process, not only would it be expensive, it could disrupt the project construction schedule for the project that we're talking about, but also then, because we deliver some projects on our own, it could have impacts to other projects as well.
That said, therefore, this committee should anticipate other layouts will be brought forward to this committee for further discussion and collaboration then.
Yeah, Chair Wansley, we have, we traditionally bring forward most major reconstruction projects for concept layout approval.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Director Sexton. I don't see anyone else in queue, so I will make the motion to approve this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Those opposed say nay. All right. The ayes have it. And now on to our last item, which represents both 14 and 15, tied to the 2026 Vision Zero annual report and crash study. And staff has prepared a presentation. I will now invite Menno Shuking?
Chair Wansley, Menno Shuking, he, him.
Yes, transportation planner with our Public Works Department, so feel free to get started.
All right. Council members, as I said, my name is Menno Shuking, he, him. I'm a transportation planner with Public Works, and it's an honor to present a Vision Zero program annual report, as well as the 2026 Vision Zero crash study to you today. Minneapolis Vision Zero is an effort across 14 city departments, as well as collaboration with the county, MnDOT, Minneapolis Public Schools, community members, and many organizations in the city to reach zero fatalities and severe injuries on city streets by 2027. This was adopted by the City Council in 2017 as a commitment to Vision Zero, is a commitment to life and equitable opportunity for people in the city of Minneapolis. When we look at fatal crashes in the city, over the past decade, we saw a big spike in crashes in 2020, 2021, 22, and 23 during and immediately, during the COVID pandemic, which was mirroring national trends. Since 2023, we've seen a strong decline, but in 2025, we saw 14 fatal crashes where 15 people lost their lives. And while statistics show an improvement, we don't want to get lost in that the people that lost their lives are neighbors, or family members, our friends, colleagues, and classmates. The people lost in 2025 include Nelson, Ronald, Brian, Willen, Deanne, Jordan, Justin, Ariel, Jeffrey, Saeed, James, Carl, Anthony, Liberty, and Marissa. In their honor and due to the traffic violence that they experience, I would like to take a moment of silence. Thank you. How can we work to make sure that we don't lose any more of our neighbors and friends to unnecessary traffic violence in the city? That's where Vision Zero comes in, and where we use a data-driven approach towards crash reduction in the city. Every few years, the city presents a crash study that dives deep into the causes of where these crashes happen, how they happen, and who is involved. Some key findings in this latest crash study include that 2025 crashes resulting in serious injuries are at a similar level to the lowest years in 2018 and 2019. Speeding is the most common contributing factor to fatal crashes, but drivers failing to yield while turning left, right, at intersections is the most contributing factor to for serious injury crashes, where people need serious medical attention when they're involved in a crash. We also want to point out that Native American and Black residents are disproportionately impacted by traffic deaths, and that's unacceptable, and we need to work to do better. When we look at this graph of serious injury and fatal crashes combined, we see that spike in 2022 of crashes that mirrors the national trend. Since 2022, we've seen over a 30% reduction in serious injury and fatal crashes in Minneapolis. This is a good improvement, and we're actually improving quicker than national trends. With the crash study, we also update the high injury street map. These are the top 10% of street miles in the city where crashes occur with fatal and serious injuries. We update this map every few years to really concentrate our efforts for spot improvements. And as you can see, some streets were added, some were removed. The 2025 street map is in dark blue. I also want to note that even though some streets have been removed, it doesn't mean that all safety concerns have been solved on those streets. It's just relative to all the streets in blue. They saw fewer crashes, but we continue to work on safety improvements on the streets that are just in the thin orange line. When we look at fatal crashes by street type, you can see the high injury streets comprise 64% of the fatal crashes from 2022 through 2025. But by street jurisdiction, we see that streets owned by MnDOT and operated by MnDOT and the county see a high percentage of fatal crashes. County roads comprise almost half the fatal crashes of streets on streets in Minneapolis. We do want to acknowledge the work that Hennepin County is doing. In the past year, they passed their first Towards Zero Deaths action plan. And we continue to work with county on reconstruction projects as well as spot improvements to make improvements on county roads. Crashes also have disproportionate impacts. From 2020 through 2024, 55% of fatal crashes happened in transportation equity priority areas 1 and 2. These are areas that were identified through our work with the Racial Equity Framework for Transportation. It was passed in 2023, and we work on concentrating our efforts in these areas of the city. And I will note that in the past few years, the percentage of fatal crashes in TEP areas 1 and 2 has decreased slightly. Traffic deaths by race. Native American residents are disproportionately impacted by traffic deaths on all modes, as well as Black residents disproportionately impacted by vehicle traffic deaths. These results are unacceptable, and we're working on ways to specifically address these disparities, and we invite you to share and work with us on making these improvements. When we look at crashes by mode, we also see that while biking and walking trips comprise a smaller share of trips overall, they are overrepresented in serious injury and fatal crashes in the city. This is part of creating a safe street system and creating comfortable facilities for our residents to get around. Our staff digs through all the the crash reports involving serious injury and fatal crashes, and we look at what contributing factors were identified by the officer that reported to the injury or to the crash. Driver failure to yield when turning and driver speeding were the top contributing factors. These are not necessarily the cause of the crash, but these were with relative confidence identified as happening at the time of the crash. Other top factors include drivers running red lights, drivers running off the road, and pedestrians crossing mid-block. We also want to note that distracted driving and impaired driving are not included in these statistics. They cannot always be determined at the time of the crash by the officer with confidence. But we continue to work on reducing distracted driving and impaired driving in our efforts with the police department as well as the city's attorney's office. Specific to public works, we have multiple traffic safety programs and treatments. We build safety into large capital reconstruction projects as well as retrofit projects. Large city projects completed last year included Hennepin Avenue South, phase 1 of First Avenue South reconstruction, as well as the Phillips 24th Street traffic safety project. We also work with the county to incorporate traffic safety in their projects and with MnDOT and Metro Transit, especially on streets on those high injury street networks. In addition to those large projects, we have a big focus on spot improvements at specific intersections and streets where we see a lot of crashes happening through affordable treatments such as quick build treatments with plastic and paint. And then eventually we upgrade many of those treatments with concrete or hardened treatments such as medians and traffic circles, speed humps. These treatments need to be appropriately selected based on the street type and their program. So the Vision Zero Capital program focuses its efforts on those high injury streets where 46% of all fatalities happen. Other programs include the Neighborhood Traffic Calming Program. And last year, we started a new program on traffic calming on municipal state aid streets that are not on the high injury street network. We want to note that if we really want to reach the Vision Zero goal, we want to focus on the high injury streets. And many of the fatalities that are listed on the bottom with the neighborhood streets also happen at the intersection of busier streets that are either the municipal state aid streets or county streets. Last year on the Vision Zero network for quick build treatments, we treated 25 intersections, added 40 curb extensions and 22 hardened centered lines. And we are experimenting with a few new treatments and upgrading plastic delineator treatments to concrete. We also evaluate and study how well our treatments are working in reducing crashes. We evaluate new treatments such as raised crossings and how they impact speeds. Speed cushions, there's an image on the right. Here, speed cushions allow extra space for emergency vehicles to pass through with less interference. So it could be a good treatment near medical facilities or near fire stations, for example. And we test these treatments with Metro Transit, the fire department, to see if their vehicles are able to run over them without issues while still providing that traffic calming benefit. We published a 3-lane one-way study and considerations for roundabouts in urban environments. The city's attorney's office last year received a grant from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety for a traffic safety resource prosecutor. And this new position has a specific emphasis on drug-impaired driving. So an example of how Vision Zero collaborates with different divisions across the city to reach our common goal. I will not go into too much detail on traffic safety cameras. My colleague Ethan Foley presented on that to the COW committee last month, but that's been a big milestone for our program in the past year. Looking forward, we publish a Vision Zero action plan. So after the goal was set in 2017, we published the Vision Zero action plan in 2020. That established two major outcomes from that was the establishment of the Vision Zero capital program and working towards 20 miles per hour speed limit citywide. And then the 2023 Vision Zero action plan was our effort towards the traffic safety cameras, as well as major work towards our Safe Streets for All grant that we secured from the US DOT. We are currently updating a new Vision Zero action plan for 2026 through 2030 to align with the larger transportation action plan and address the latest findings from this latest crash study that I presented on. Vision Zero action plan is organized along 4 systems that follow a national safe systems approach. Safe streets being primarily public works focused, but safe people, safe vehicles, and safety data really emphasize our collaboration with other departments and other government agencies. On the current Vision Zero action plan, includes 17 strategies and 79 actions. Every time we update the Vision Zero action plan, we remove completed actions from the next update, and some items continue to always be ongoing and on track. The new plan update, like I mentioned, is under development. It will include some new and updated actions and updated performance metrics. We are in the final stages of drafting that, and we will have a 30-day public comment and engagement period for that. Highlighting those changes, we'll have community engagement with that, and then the final plan will be presented to CNI sometime this summer. And that was my final slide, so thank you.
Thank you so much for that pretty thorough presentation. I will see. Okay, first in queue, we have Vice Chair Stevenson.
Thank you for the great presentation, sorry. Oh, I got myself in here twice. Going back to the slide about the treatment evaluations, were you saying that you were evaluating them to see if they would work with Metro Transit and emergency vehicles, or were you saying you were evaluating them based on their effectiveness at creating safety?
Both. So for the speed cushion image here, for example, it was a new treatment that we started with in 2025. We first want to see if they work with Metro Transit and the fire department and other maintenance vehicles. And then once we have at least 3 years of data after post-implementation, we evaluate the treatment and see if on that particular street or the locations where we installed them, we saw a reduction in crashes.
Mm. Could you send me the data that you have on the different treatments and like the historical data on their effectiveness?
Yeah, so race crossing evaluation will be published soon, but we're finishing up the speed cushion evaluation, but that's still on the installment phase. Once we have more crash data, then we will be able to share that at a later date.
Have you evaluated other treatments?
Yeah, so we are finishing up, we have evaluated like the plastic delineator treatments, whether it's at a street corner as a bump out versus a median, and also whether it's at a signalized intersection or at a unsignalized intersection. So.
Okay. Can you send me, I guess what I'm asking, can you send me the evaluations that you've done so far?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to interject for that note. We like to have the practice of information that's shared with one council member be shared with all committee members. So I'll just note that for a staff follow up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then next, I think I missed this in your presentation. How do you decide how streets get added or removed to the high injury network?
We look at 4 years of data 5 years of data across all streets, and we do something called a sliding window analysis. So it's a GIS mapping exercise where we assign scores to whether fatal or serious injury crashes happened or regular injury crashes. And that gives a score to every street in the city. And then we designate approximately the top 10% of street mileage in the city onto that high entry street map, onto the map. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more of the methodology is in the report. But, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I just have some comments in terms of why I'm most proud about this aspect of the work that we do as a city. I know last term, the council had many debates around the usefulness of bollards, or why are we making significant investments in traffic calming? Why are we putting, more or doing more conversions of streets, things that can make the lives of drivers more inconvenient? And I can only think of the slide number 4 where you read, or where we had a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives while walking or biking or driving in Minneapolis. And I have seen you do this presentation for several years now. I have always made sure that this is a component of that presentation of naming we're losing lives when our streets are not safe, and that every resident deserve to access them safely and freely and without concern or being put at risk of losing their lives. And if that means shaving off some time in your commute, then it's worth it if that means we're making our streets that much safer for our residents. And that is part of a comprehensive public safety strategy as well. So I just want to say, this is why we do that for the public, for folks who wonder, why do we care about bike lanes? Why do we care about these conversions of streets? Why do we care about traffic calming and putting those annoying pieces of plastic? I don't know if you're using plastic. I'm assuming they're green friendly, but of the bollards, this is why we invest in this work, so that we can reach Vision Zero. The goal is 0 residents being at risk or even losing their lives while navigating our streets. So I just want to commend our staff for making, again, steady progress and completing the strategies and goals that we've placed in our Vision Zero plan. And I look forward to seeing the updated version this summer, and also making sure that we have the space, as you highlighted, for residents to weigh in on what are we missing, what are some things that we could be doing more. There are other innovative tactics we can be employing to keep our streets safe for everyone. So I just want to, again, take a moment to give kudos to our staff on this component of our work. With that, I do see Councilmember Vitaw.
Thank you, Chair Wansley. I just wanted to say thank you for the fantastic work. The Vision Zero initiative is extremely important to the city. You all are committed to this always. I think it really does show the commitment in a way different than some of the other initiatives we have here, because you do a good job at community engagement. People know what's going on in their neighborhood and how it's directly related to Vision Zero. I want you all to keep up the good work, but of course, more community engagement. The more, the better. You're doing fantastic. It's gotten better over the years. And so I really do appreciate that. Just getting better and better with it. I get less questions about projects that are happening because you all are doing a fantastic job at making sure people understand what is being proposed, that they have a voice in these projects, that they get to share the stories, that they're the people who witness these crashes. They're the people who are reporting these streets, this list of streets you have. The people who live in those communities are the ones that are calling and saying, there's another accident happening here. Can we get a traffic study? And so I think the level of commitment that you and the entire Vision Zero team have committed to making sure that community is engaged in this is really paying off, and people are talking about it. It makes a difference. I just can't stress enough how much better it's gotten over the years, and I just envision that it's going to get better and better. I was so happy to hear you say that you're working with Hennepin County directly now, because that's always kind of been startling to me, the number of deaths on county roads. I have a county road in my ward that we don't have a lot of deaths, but there's serious accidents, and it's been redesigned, and all these things have happened. You all stepped up to educate community about the redesign, and I think we just have to keep doing that. We have to partner with the folks who the roads belong to and express to them how important it is, and you know, give them feedback about what we're hearing, because what I find too is a lot of people don't report to the county or to MnDOT. It comes straight to us or you all. They just think every road in Minneapolis is a city road. So I'm really happy to hear you say that the partnership with Hennepin County is strengthening too. And then just again, please keep up the good work. I'm always so proud of the commitment to making sure that we have 0 deaths in Minneapolis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Councilmember Warren in queue.
I wanted to say thank you as well for such a warm presentation of everything that you were talking about the Vision Zero and ensuring that our community members are safe, and the work that you did on Lindale Avenue in North Minneapolis. Yeah, that was fantastic.
More to come this year.
That's right. That was and people complained about it for quite some time, but I feel so much better driving down Lindale Avenue since those traffic calming dividers in the street are now there, because people used to fly down Lindale like they had lost total regard for that it's a street, you know. They were in a raceway. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that, you know, it's safer for our families to get, you know, across the street to the parks and things like that in North Minneapolis. It feels really good. And for the work that was also done on Plymouth Avenue as well. So I'm thankful for those things and look forward to other ways that we can help ensure that we're keeping our residents safe and things like that. I was wondering, I do have a question though, with a lot of the crosswalks and such, we don't have a whole lot of talking crosswalks in North Minneapolis that support a lot of our ADA residents over there or the elders. Is that something that's coming in the plan too, to make sure that people are?
So we, the audio.
Or even with the little bike signs on there, you know?
The flashing ones, the yellow ones. Yeah, we do, including our traffic staff, implements those. I don't know the specific locations that we have planned right now, but we can have a conversation about locations and prioritization.
Yeah, I just asked because last summer and the summer before last, I biked with my daughter. She was doing a STEM program at Urban League, and we were biking from our home, and we took Fremont up to Plymouth and then coming back down and around that way, and the bike lanes are on both sides, but it doesn't give like clear indications of where you want to, you know, turn at and do what have you. And it would be good for young people as they're using, you know, the bike lanes, and for other individuals to know, hey, wait for a bike, you know, make sure that you know when people can move in certain areas of the city. Since we've invested all of that and put in those bike lanes there, we should have traffic signals to support it the way that they do in other areas of the city.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. I sense a priority from Councilmember Warren to be submitted. That said, again, just let me double check. All right. No one else is in queue. Thank you so much again for a great presentation. I will ask our clerks to file it and also to follow up with Councilmember Stevenson around the question he asked as well. That said, we have completed all business on our agenda before us today. So with that, I call this meeting adjourned. All right.